Sunday, and you know what happens on Sundays. It is when Black women gather. Thank you so much for just joining us tonight. I'm going to try to do this as always. Dallas was the first city I saw. Chicago, Queens, New York is in the house. Yes. Brooklyn is in the house because we have Congresswoman Yvette Clarke in the house representing the conscience of the Congress, the Congressional Black Caucus. San Diego is in the house. Ooh, Motown is in the house. New York City, South Fulton, Washington, D.C., that's where I'm at. San Antonio, Tulsa is in the house. Sumter, South Carolina, shout out South Carolina. New Orleans is in the house. Ooh, this is going so fast, y'all. Y'all are making it hard. Oakland is in the house. Florence, South Carolina. Shout out South Carolina. That's where my family is. Texas is in the house. Austin, Alabama, Raleigh, Chicago, Central Indiana. Philly is represented. Shout out to Philadelphia, Sacramento, Los Angeles. That's my second home. Shout out to Los Angeles. Mayor Karen Bass, who we love so much. San Francisco's in the house. St. Louis, Missouri. Shout out to former Mayor Tashara Jones, who we love so much. Grand Rapids, Michigan, and everywhere in between. Black women are here gathering. Now nearly 1,300 of us gathered. Welcome to Sunday's Win with Black Women. My name is Joteka Edie, and I am honored to spend most Sunday nights with a dynamic group of Black women. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, this is Win with Black Women. We are a network of Black women who join in our personal capacities to focus on three goals. Number one, working to make sure that we speak out against racism and sexism against Black women anywhere it is hurled, in any venue that we see. Number two, working in our personal capacities to elect Black women up and down the ballot. We truly believe that representation matters. And third, ensuring that we lift up the collective power and image of Black women, and particularly that of Black women-led institutions and Black women-centered organizations. That has been the work of Win with Black Women for now more than 5 years. When we first came together around our collective concern and outrage around the narrative that was being created in the then 2020 presidential election. Since then, we have put our voices in open letters and collective action in partnership with sister leaders and Black women-led organizations to do remarkable things together. And we have witnessed remarkable work and feats and just triumphant moments with Black women, particularly that of seeing the first Black woman elected as Vice President of the United States. That is our very own forever Vice President Kamala Harris. The work that we did collectively with Black women leaders and Black women organizations to see the nomination and confirmation of our nation's first Black woman on the U.S. Supreme Court, our nation's first Black woman to sit on the Federal Reserve Board, and so many other firsts. But our work didn't stop there. We continued to speak up and to show collective power, empowering and supporting Black women in film and television, and our work in partnership and following the leadership of the WNBA Players Association, and our work to advocate for the safe release of our sister Brittany Griner. And there's been so much that we have done, including that historic Zoom call where more than 44,000 of us gathered on Zoom, and nearly 100,000 other people got on other platforms on the internet to watch that Zoom. That has been the work of Win with Black Women. It has been the work since we launched, and will continue to be our work. Now, for you that are joining for the very first time on this call, this is how we do it. We open in the spirit and we close in the spirit. And in between, we have dynamic Black women who will come talk to you about what's happening in this country. But we also want to make sure that you understand the joy that we hold as well. Our sister Latasha Brown, who will be here tonight, she always says that we can hold the fight and the joy together. And that is what we seek to do on these calls. So we're so honored to have all of you here. And I have to give a big thank you to all of the women that power Win with Black Women on a week to week basis. There's so many dynamic Black women who volunteer their time to make these calls possible. And a big thank you to all of those sisters. Tonight, as we go into our spiritual opening, I want to say a very special message to Reverend Jesse Jackson and the entire Jackson family. May we keep Reverend Jackson in our prayers, all that have worked with him and all that know him. And may we continue to hold him in a special place in our heart. And with that, I am honored to bring to the Win with Black Women stage Dr. Tony Lewis to open us in the spirit.
Thank you so much, Sister Joteka. And oh my goodness, I don't know about y'all, but my spirit is already filled knowing that I am in this space with my sisters because since we last met, it's been a little bit of a mental, physical, and spiritual whiplash, right? From all the powerful and wonderful things to watching the, as my sisters have named it, the evil, the chaos, the crazy that has threatened food and health and our bodies and our souls. But guess what? We have each other because it went with Black women and from all of our sister and auntie and ancestral traditions. We got this. We got this. And so on our spiritual opening today, as I reflect on kind of the chaos of the past couple of weeks, I'm thinking about how we are entering also this season of gratitude. And for me, Thanksgiving and my family, Thanksgiving was never about pilgrims and Indians. It was about being thankful for family, being grateful for being together, whatever food we could put on the table, whether it was a little bit or a lot, and getting ready to kind of understand and appreciate the harvest and sit together and remember and just be, just be. So, with that spirit in this opening, I think let's do a little bit of a spiritual exercise very quickly. That's almost like that Thanksgiving table. So, first, we're going to open with some gratitude and gratitude. I would say, write in the chat one thing you're grateful for, one thing that's come to your meditation or prayer or quiet today. I'm grateful for you all. I'm grateful for my mom, Alessandra Faye Johnson Lewis. I'm grateful that we are all working together to build a better future. I am grateful for Jakeka Edie and the Win with Black Women family. I am grateful. And then with the simplest prayer of traditions that I have been taught, which are Baptist and Catholic and AME and ancestral, I'm gonna start with the thank you. I'm gonna go next to the ask. We ask that the Spirit come to us today to intervene, to heal us, to hold us, to allow us to hear whatever message we are supposed to hear today and embody that in our souls. We ask you to take care of our sisters that are with us in spirit and take care of those families who need all of this assistance and love and faith and hope today. With that, we also say, we are grateful, we are joyful, we got some praise dances for many things, and I'm sure, and I see you writing in the chat. There's so much joy whenever the sisters get together. And then closing with a thank you in advance that it is already done. This is going to be an amazing time of community together online with the Women with Black Women, with my sisters. I feel the healing already. I feel the space. I feel the calm. And so, with that, however you like to close your prayer, and we are praying with you, whether it's the Amen, the Ashe, the So Let It Be, the Let's Go, whatever it is, let's all say together. Take a deep breath in, breathe out, and thank you so much for being here. Bless you all, every single one.
Mm. Gratefulness. And we are certainly grateful for you, Dr. Tony. Thank you so much. I know I am certainly grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you so much. Well, sisters, it has been quite a few weeks, and we have all watched all of the conversations happening in Washington as it related to the Republican government shutdown. and the vital fight for health care for all Americans. Before I bring up our next guest, who is no stranger to Win with Black Women, she has been with us from the very beginning, all 5 years that we have been in existence. I want to play this video to put this next segment into context.
After 43 days, the longest government shutdown in American history is officially over. So how soon will the government reopen? Well, it all starts today. Let's begin with federal workers. Hundreds of thousands of workers are returning back to the job. We know that furloughed workers will get back pay in the coming days. As part of this deal, the Trump administration will rehire thousands of federal workers who were fired during the shutdown.
So, we know that the government is now back open, but there's a whole lot more to it. And joining us is the leader of the conscience of the Congress, a true fighter, a friend to Win with Black Women, a friend of mine, my soror, who is a leader, the chairwoman of the Congressional Black Caucus, Congresswoman Yvette Clarke. Welcome, Congresswoman, to Win with Black Women. There's so much that has been happening. I want to turn the floor over to you to share with the now more than 1,500 sisters who join us from all across the nation to just give us an update on what is next. So now we know the government shutdown, which was orchestrated by the Republicans because they were in control of every aspect of government. Tell us what is next. What should we be focused on? What's going to happen as it relates to healthcare, and where is the CBC focused in this moment?
Wonderful. Well, let me first of all just thank you, Sora Jateka Edie, and to all of our sisters on tonight's Win with Black Women call, not only for welcoming me back this evening, but for all your work to steer our nation towards a better path. And we know we must take a better path. As you know, the longest shutdown of the federal government in American history ended just last week after 43 grueling days. For 43 days, they held the American people hostage, denying them affordable health care and basic stability, and going as far as to sue just to stop hungry families from accessing their SNAP benefits. And it was all because of their refusal. And I'm talking about the Republican Party, MAGA Republicans in the House of Representatives in the United States Senate, and the White House for that matter. Is because of their refusal to extend the Affordable Care Act's premium tax credits, which will eminently lead to tens of millions of Americans now who are facing skyrocketing premiums, co-pays, and deductibles, and an economy already stretched thin. Well, let me tell you this, sisters. Days ago, I voted no. No on the Republicans' dirty betrayal of the American people. I cannot endorse legislation that did not protect the Affordable Care Act premium tax credits. A promise is only as good as the people who give it. And the Senate Republicans have shown exactly the kind of people they are time and time again. And to just drill down a little bit, for Black communities, this is catastrophic. We are all reeling under the weight of an economy that has escalated so rapidly since the COVID-19 pandemic. And now the cost of living is out of reach for millions of Black Americans across this country. And for those who can't reach it, their fingertips are barely touching the edge. I wish there were another path forward that would have reopened the government and protected Americans' basic access to health care. But House Republicans wouldn't present it. They refused to negotiate, perhaps because their cruelty demanded so, or perhaps Donald Trump did. But although the shutdown has now ended, its consequences will continue to be felt in our communities across the nation for weeks, for months, maybe even years to come. And I have no doubt that pain will be felt the most by those who have the least. My colleagues in the Democratic caucus will continue to fight on every front and in every arena necessary to impede, obstruct, resist, stall, and slow down the abuses of this administration. When I say congressional Democrats, I can only speak for the House of Representatives, where my leader is Congressman Hakeem Jeffries. And I know that he has been masterful in holding Democrats together throughout all of the crises that we have been bombarded with. And we will continue to advocate for Black communities, most vulnerable communities who are vulnerable to the president's attacks, and those most at risk of his vengeance and negligence. And we will also continue to shed light on the precise areas that Donald Trump most wishes we were kept in the dark on. Now, I want to commend all of us, if you haven't already, to take a look at Project 2025. I always emphasize that when I'm before our folks, because the more educated and informed we are, the more we can tactically move to navigate our people through this crisis. Everything that we are experiencing right now was already revealed to us, though in a theoretical form, in Project 2025. And our colleagues in the House of Representatives, our colleagues in the United States Senate on the other side of the aisle, alongside Donald Trump, are steady, steady in their implementation of those horrific policies that are meant to marginalize us, to cause us pain, so much pain that we are pushed into submission. And that's why the battle that we wage around the Affordable Care Act is critical. We have to turn our pain into power. And I can tell you that as a member of the House of Representatives who represents a very diverse constituency, the amount of incoming that my office has met, that I have met personally with my people in my community, has been extremely painful. But again, I know that there's going to be pain. I'm trying to build up as much strength in the midst of it so that we can move forward. We have to move through this process and come out the other side stronger and more resilient and more powerful than ever before. From releasing the Epstein files to preserving the premium tax credits that 24 million Americans rely on to survive. Our priorities are numerous, and though it may take time to see them through, and though we might face setbacks, we will never surrender, and we will ultimately be victorious. So, my sisters, let me thank you for your continued commitment to this platform, because we are winning with Black women. And in this moment, I believe firmly that Black women are going to see us through some of the most horrific times that we have experienced in our lifetime. But when we come through it, we're going to come through strong, and we're going to come through winning with Black women.
Always, always, Congresswoman. And before you go, because I know you're very, very busy, I did want to ask one question for those sisters that are in the audience, and they're over 1,600 now and keeps growing. What would you say to them? What should we be doing? Should we be calling our members of Congress? What should we be saying to them between now and the end of the year, when we know that the Affordable Care Act, when that will expire?
Well, we have to take an all of the above approach. People cannot sit in Washington feeling comfortable that they can avoid providing the supports that are needed for our people to be able to afford their health insurance. We just cannot we cannot permit that. So let me say, one, yes, we should be calling all of our representatives. And many of you on this call are not represented by CBC members. You may not even be represented by a Democrat. Irrespective and irregardless of who represents you, this is when you flex. You call their offices and you make sure you register your concern about getting this done. The deadline for the Affordable Care Act tax credits expiration is December 31st. So we got to get to working. The other thing is, I know that everyone on this call is influential. You all got Facebook, you got Instagram, you got Twitter or X as it's called. You got all manner of social media. And I know you got at least one friend. That friend should learn what you have learned this evening on this call. And they should do likewise. Reach out to their elected officials in Congress and make sure that they register their dismay at this not having taken place yet. And then we have to challenge these members to get the job done before December 31st. We all can be on this mission, and we should use our influence with those around us and on our social media platforms so that they too are joining the drumbeat for getting this done. I know that the more that we raise our voices in unison, the more that it reverberates in the halls of Congress. So I'm counting on you, sisters. This is our moment. We can't get weary in doing great things, and we're about to do a great thing, which is deliver the Affordable Care Act tax credits for our people. Let's do it. As they say, let's go.
Let's go. Congresswoman Yvette Clarke, thank you so much. And thank you to the Congressional Black Caucus for all you do every single day, the fight that you continue to have, not only for the good constituents that you have in Brooklyn, but all of us across the country. So thank you so much for always joining us. And we look forward to having you again.
Thank you for having me, my sister. Many blessings to each and every one, and a wonderful Thanksgiving if I'm unable to be with you prior to that. Many blessings to each and every household here represented. And know that we as sisters are responsible for lifting one another up. And if ever there's distress, you need to call on a sister. We're here for you.
Thank you. We appreciate you so much. Well, sisters, we're going to dive right on into that conversation that we just had, and we're going to bring two experts. And I know if you do not follow Sister Monique Presley and Sister Elizabeth Booker on all things social, then you are missing out because they break down everything that is happening. They bring us the message, they break it down, and they keep us informed. And I am so honored to have these two dynamic, amazing sisters, Sister Monique Presley, Sister Elizabeth Booker, OGs and Win with Black Women, to join us on stage, really to dive deeper. We just had Congresswoman Yvette Clarke on talking about the shutdown, which I think has been very interesting. Some of the commentary about the shutdown and some of the, yes, we know that there were 8 Democrats in the Senate that, however people want to describe that they voted to reopen the government. They didn't hold the line per se. But the reality is that this was orchestrated. No one's really talking about the other side that was really responsible for all of this. I would love to hear your perspective and to hear both of you who I know have been following this very closely and have provided such powerful information for the public. Just really to talk about your perspective, what we as Black women all now 1,700. It just grows it grows like every minute. 1,700 of us that are here. What should we be taking away? What should the messages we should be sharing? We're all going to be sitting around the Thanksgiving table, and it's going to come up. What should the conversation be? What should the call to action be? And what's next?
Well, I don't know, Monique. I don't know. We've had some conversations on the phone over the last few days about everything, and I think that is an excellent point that's made of what's really. Yes, I was very upset with the 8 Senate Democrats, but like you said, it's really the other side that is doing the dirtiest of the dirty work here, and we cannot lose focus in that. And so I do want to remind folks just to like level set quickly is this budget has only fully funded, if I'm not mistaken, 3 of the minibuses. So there's 12 different subcommittees, 12 what we call minibuses, which are like the way that the budget bills are broken up. So the agriculture bill was funded, which includes like U.S. Department of Agriculture. That's funded until the end of the fiscal year, which for the federal government is September 30th. Um, that also includes like the U.S. Food and Drug Administration because it's couched under ag instead of like the healthcare bill for historic reasons. They also fully funded the legislative bill again until September 30th for all the legislative agencies like the Government Accountability Office, which I'm gonna get to that maybe in a minute because I think that's important and people should know about GAO. And then finally, they also funded Veterans Affairs, military construction that does not include defense. Department of Defense DoD is a separate minibus. So Veterans Affairs was funded until September 30th. Everything else is under a continuing resolution, which expires January 30th, which means there is potential still for some of these agencies to shut down come early 2026 if they don't come to an agreement about how to fully fund things like the rest of the Department of Health and Human Services, such as CDC or like the Administration for Children and Families, and again, DOD. And as Congresswoman Yvette Clarke just talked about, you know, they still are looking for an opportunity to negotiate those ACA subsidies, which again goes back to why the healthcare minibus was not fully funded until September 30th. And so we have not come to the end of the road on this, I think is important. And I'm going to pass it to Monique now. If there's anything that I've forgotten and anything you want to add to that to just give people the context of where we are.
Hey, y'all. Hey, sisters. Hey, Joe.
Hey, sis.
I am falling apart.
Mm.
And I can't, for those of you who know me, I'm not a stranger here. I can't fix it so that I am more together because there's so many people in so much pain. And so, oh my God. Here's what I want to say. There are 2.5 million federal workers. And for those of you who don't remember federal workers, if Cora Masters Berry is on here tonight, I honor you, Queen, on behalf of you and the work that your husband did so that Black people could enter middle class and upper middle class, so that we could own property, so that we could begin to make for generational wealth. Because I think we're forgetting what this is really about. When they attack the federal workforce, they're saying, we don't want Black people to have anything. And it hurts me so bad when it's us. And I'm not saying we shouldn't be saying shut it down. We shouldn't be mad when we don't. We shouldn't be fighting for ACA. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying as we do it, we really need to remember that it is us, the 300,000, right? Valisha would say 400,000 Black women purged from the federal workforce. The head of OMB, Russell Vogt, who would say, I want the federal workforce to experience trauma so that they don't want to come back to work. So my time is short. So as I'm crying, I'm going to say, we're going to be back here again because this vote that they've offered us is crap. And when we come back again, I am hoping that whoever's on here, Divine Nine, NAACP, National Urban League, whoever you are, I'm hoping you will remember, one, the federal government workers who are not just the 2.5 million, but twice that when you think of contractors who do janitorial service, who work in the kitchen, serving mashed potatoes and meatloaf. Everybody who is affected by this, it's coming back around. They need to join credit unions like Navy Federal Credit Union that are going to give you loans, so that when the government shuts down, you don't have to be in risk of can't pay your rent, can't pay your mortgage, can't pay your bills, tanking your credit. We need other organizations to do lending for federal workers. The food pantries, my church, Temple of Praise, Southeast DC, the place they were getting the grants from for the groceries that they had to double, the grants were canceled. So they had to figure out money on their own to give people, federal workers with the jobs, to give them groceries. We need to do that. The hiring freeze. If there are people of influence in here who can talk to people in government and get the hiring freeze lifted so that it's not a smaller workforce that's handling things for the many. And then, yes, Joe, the Epstein files. If we can push as much as possible so that people who are in red states can understand they're about to starve like the rest of us, then maybe that will help, because then that will be pressure. But I talked to my senior pastor tonight before I came on, and that is why I'm so emotional, because y'all, all across America, especially DMV, but all across America tonight, there were pastors taking their pulpit who were shouting, and their congregations were shouting because the government was back open, because people were hungry. So whatever we're going to do, we can't do it and be so callous. Shut it down, turn it on, lift it up, go back. These are humans, y'all. Humans. So whatever way we handle it from here, I pray that we center humans in our objectives. And I apologize, Joe Taka. I'm a mess. This is not my normal, but I got my
There's never a reason to apologize on a Win with Black Women call. We come as we are, and we are truly a sisterhood, and there is space for all of our thoughts, our feelings, because you are right. This is human. This is very human. And I think often in these conversations we forget about the human factor. There are people who are going to lose their health care. That's very real. There are people who are in this chat who have shared that they are out of the workforce. They are worried about their healthcare premiums. I think what is clear, and as we wrap this up, is that we have to be very clear that there is a human toll to all of this, that all politics is personal. It is human. That the conversations that we're having in this country right now, regarding healthcare, affordable healthcare, the ability to work, the ability to eat, all of these benefits are incredibly important. And we cannot lose sight or just say it doesn't affect me, because somewhere, someplace, someone you know and love will be affected by this. And it's important for us to speak truth to power, to pick up that phone, to call our member of Congress, and not to think that it doesn't matter, because it does indeed matter. They need to hear from us. And it matters for us, and we'll hear more about other ways that we can exert our power, our economic power in this moment. And we'll hear from Sister Latasha Brown about that next. But there are ways that we can exert our power. I want to just yield the microphone and the floor to both of you. Start with you, Monique, with any last words that you want to share with the now 1,800 sisters that are on this call.
Oh, my sisters, I love you so much. Be exactly who you are in this moment. We need you. We need us. I have never been more thankful for community, more needful of community. Liz can tell you, because she and I just yesterday, we hashed it out trying to figure out who's who and what's what. And it's not contingent upon agreement. It's contingent upon love. And so the way we love each other, please keep going and please keep thinking. And if there are those of you out there who are able to lend, maybe as we come to this next shutdown, if you know lending agencies and you can do direct deposit for these government workers, or if you are able to do with food banks and you can send food, it's going to take all of us. Let's not just, Tyler is good, Oprah is good, Robin them is good, but it's each one of us. So let's see ourselves and how we can lean in and sacrifice. And then I just want to say, Joteka, girl, I almost said it like our queen. I sounded like her right then. But I love you. And I am so thankful that we have. Listen, I told everybody, I'm like, I can't do nothing else because I got the women tonight with my sister. So please and thank you for this space where we can fall apart.
And a sister will help put you right back together.
Yes.
Sister Elizabeth Booker.
Well, I think Monique kind of said it all. It's been a lot. A lot of people know I'm a former Fed worker. I got to choose to leave, rather than be fired. My husband was terminated, and just like, some things for people not to know is he got paid a severance, and then the government immediately turned around and said we owe them tens of thousands of dollars back. And they're not doing this just to him; they're doing it to everybody. They're doing it to a whole lot of people. They put a lot of leave and earning statements in the negative. For a lot of people, and I'm still in a lot of the federal employee chats. And as Monique said, there's a human cost to this. And I also want people to remember that when they made the deal with this CR to rehire the 4,000 people who were RIF during the shutdown, that doesn't mean they can't fire people. A RIF is a very specific way of getting rid of somebody. My husband was not terminated through a RIF. I was myself forced out, right? In a different way so that I resigned, right? Like there's many ways that they are forcing people out, and that is a band-aid on a gushing wound, as I describe it. And so why I say that, to say we have to be vigilant, because these people are the devil. I don't talk about religion on my platform, but I very much am a Christian, and I do believe in God. And so my daddy and I talk about this very often, where we talk about the devil being at work. And I don't mean to offend anybody if this doesn't align with anybody's beliefs. I don't at all judge. This is just me personally. And the thing about dealing with the devil is we are stronger than whatever may come from that. We are stronger together. I truly believe that. I had Tennessee Representative Justin Jones. I met with him at a rally to call for RFK Jr.'s impeachment just a couple weeks ago. And he said, if you want to see Project 2025 and what happened, you look at Tennessee. So I always say, you look at my hometown of Memphis. That is the result of what, Project 2025 was implemented in Tennessee and to Memphians long before it was coming to the rest of the country. And it's not only the only Black city to experience that. I would also include cities, other Black cities in that category, Birmingham, for example, Jackson, Mississippi, for example, right? And so we know what the playbook is, but we also know that those Black cities are still standing. They will try to break us. They are trying to destroy us. They are trying to decimate us. What's happening in my hometown right now with the occupation is breaking my entire heart. But those cities are still standing, and Black people are still fighting. And I just want to leave people on that sense of hope, because I really do believe that we will get to the other side of this. And so I just want to thank you all so much for being on here tonight. Thank you, Monique, for being so vulnerable. And I just appreciate everybody here.
Thank you. Well, thank you to dynamic, amazing sisters who keep us in the know. Thank you. If you do not follow Monique Presley and Elizabeth Booker, please follow them. We will drop all of their information, not only in our recap email, but also in the chat. Be sure to follow them and get information. And literally, it is hour by hour, sometimes minute by minute. They will get up in the middle of the night and go to Capitol Hill and go live and give you the information. Thank you so much, sisters, for all that you do. Appreciate you both so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
You.
Sisters, we're going to keep going right on this agenda. And we're going to bring up a sister who has been with us since day one, Sister Latasha Brown, to talk to us about the power that we have. She always talks about power, and she reminds us of our power. And she has launched a very powerful movement for us to take into this season where everybody wants us to spend, 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 but really getting us to rethink our economic power. Before we bring her on stage, let's roll this clip.
Choosing differently. We're choosing family over corporations, freedom over empty sales, community over convenience. We Ain't Buying It is more than a boycott. It's an economic stand, a way to defend democracy with our dollars. It's a movement to reclaim the power we've always had, but forget to use. Here's what we're doing. We're pausing spending at major chains that abandon us. We're redirecting our money to small and Black-owned businesses that actually invest in our communities.
We ain't buying it, Sister Latasha Brown. I love that. We ain't buying it.
How you doing, Joteka?
I'm doing, sis. It's a season.
You know, in my spirit, I just want to share something before I even talk about the campaign. And I could feel my grandmother in these moments. Like sometimes we just kind of got to get grounded. And what came to my spirit was, the Lord will make a way somehow. It beneath the cross I bow. He will take away your sorrow and let you lay your burden down. So many nights and tossed the burdens, wondering what the day may bring. But there's a sweet relief in knowing the Lord will make a way somehow. We just got to lean into that spirit. I was so moved by my sisters previously, and we're going to talk about this boycott, but I just want us to get grounded that yes, it is hard, and yes, it is challenging, but the Lord will make a way somehow. But as God moves and moves and moves in us, we got to do our part too. So sister, I just wanted, it was just so strong on me. I couldn't even rest without thinking about it. I could hear her now. I could actually hear her. Like I could hear it in my spirit. Like we got to know, y'all, the Lord will make a way, but we got to believe it. We got to lean into it, but we got to do our part. We got to do our part.
Amen. Amen to that. I think we needed that message. We got to believe it. I think you said something so powerful, Sister Latasha, is that we have to believe it. I think sometimes we say it and we don't believe it. And when you launched this campaign, it just brought joy to my heart because, you know, it kind of took me back to, sorry, I'm getting emotional.
It's okay. It's okay. We're in safe space.
Yes.
Safe space, and we feel our sisters hurting. There's some on this phone there's some on this line right now that I know that you struggling. Listen, I'm a sister that I've had to use food stamps before. I did. I went out on my own. I wanted to make a life for myself and my child. I needed that help. And that, right, I am somebody that I needed for most of my life. I couldn't miss a check, right? And not only am I depending on the check, there's 7, 8 people in my family. And I know the sisters that are on this call that literally missing a check, missing 2 checks can actually create an avalanche for your entire family. So I feel you, Joteka, and I feel the sisters that are there, and it's real and it's grounded. And this isn't about political talking points. This isn't about political party talking points. This is really about, this is our lives. This is really our lives. But the good thing about God is we ain't powerless. And the good thing about God is when his people show up, like when we use our power, we can make change. So I just want to remind people that even in the midst of this struggle, if you keep focused that God will make a way and you stand in that space and do what we got to do, who can defeat us?
No one can defeat us. And thank you for that. And thank you for the space. That's why I love this space.
Mm.
You know, I was thinking whenever you it was your birthday, happy belated birthday. And in good Latasha Brown fashion, she replied back, sign up.
Right,
Going
that's
to
right.
work on your birthday. But it made me think, and I was, been thinking a lot about Christmas and the holiday, and this is technically my second Christmas, but it feels like my first Christmas without my mom. And I went back to what Christmas, my best Christmases. And it
Mhm.
was Christmas like when we go to grandma's house. And I remember my grandparents would always give us, and I used to think like, oh my God, what is this? My granddaddy would give us a bag of oranges,
Yes,
apples,
apples and
some
nuts.
nuts.
I already know with Brazil nuts, I understand.
And I thought about it, and whenever I saw that we ain't buying it, it took me back to really what the holiday season was really all about. And it got so commercialized, and we started, extraction from our community and spend, 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 and not focused on community, on love. And so I was just so taken back to that place when it just naturally took me back to the nuts and the apples and the oranges, and that was really what it was about. And I know this is a way that we could get back to that, but in doing that, send a strong message about our economic power in this moment. So I want you to just talk
Sure.
to us about we ain't buying it, about how we could join, how we could sign the pledge, and the real power behind the collective nature of us coming together as a people, what we can show.
So, even in that spirit, I just kind of want to share, Christmas is a tender time for many of us. It is, this year would be 3 years. I buried my only child 3 days before Christmas. And so, and I'm saying that because it made me look at holidays completely different. Like, I still like to buy and shop like everybody, right? But it did make me think about how precious our time is with each other and with our families. And so I think that there's a win-win in our we ain't buying it campaign. Just briefly, I think there's a win-win in it. I think part of it is, one, in this moment that we are seeing policy be aimed to hurt and harm our communities, we cannot fall into the trap of believing that we're powerless, that we have power, that Black folk in this country, we have $1.4 trillion in consumer power annually. I need us to understand that. And 60 to 70% of the 60 to 80% in some circumstances of those decisions of spending decisions in our households are made by women, right? We've got an enormous amount of power. And when we're looking at this space of how they've commercialized, I don't know, I remember Thanksgiving used to be Thanksgiving. Just a few years ago, Thanksgiving, they started opening up Thanksgiving afternoon, like in Thanksgiving, the stores. Do you remember that, Joe Taker?
I
Like
remember.
that's new. That's not something that happened before, right?
If you didn't
You
have,
could,
you
you
couldn't
could
have
go
your Jiffy
Walgreens.
cornbread mix. You was
You was
stuck. You
out
could
of it.
not
If you
get it before Thanksgiving.
Yes, if you didn't go to the gas station or convenience store, you couldn't go anywhere. And so all of a sudden, they've commercialized all of these holidays that, quite frankly, have just been about consumerism. And so we're asking with the We Ain't Buying campaign, part of it is on November the 27th to December the 1st. We're asking you, sisters, to stand with millions of people over this country that say we ain't buying it. We ain't buying fascism. We ain't buying the fact that we have a government, the wealthiest country in the world, and you're gonna cut off 42 million people who actually are afraid of whatever food that they may not have on their dining room table, while we see a president that's building a $300 million golden gilded dining room where you got 42 million people not know what they're going to have on their dining table. Like, it is atrocious that we are not buying that there's companies that actually is standing with this administration on policies that hurt us, and rolling back on DEI and calling ICE on families where we're seeing folks be torn from their families like they're dogs. We ain't buying it. And because we ain't buying that, We ain't buying for those companies, and we're going to got to develop the kind of economic discipline that we really use our money a different kind of way. And so, sisters, what we ain't buying it. I'm going to ask you all that on November the 27th through December the 1st, we have over 50 national organizations that are part of this. I do want to do a shout out to Black women, because I got my Listen to Black Women shirt on today, but I want to do a shout out that many of these movements are actually led and anchored by Black women. The Target boycott is actually led. We know brother Dr. Jamal Bryant has been out there doing his thing, but it's actually anchored by two amazing sisters, Nina Turner, and Lord, I said Tina Turner, Nina Turner and Tamika Mallory. Y'all know I'm tired. And Tamika Mallory, they have been leading this. They have been pushing and also been anchoring this We Ain't Buying It campaign as well. That sisters are on the forefront of making sure that we are sending a message loud and clear. And so this is how it's going to work out. The way that we're thinking of it, how it's work, we're asking you to be mindful about your spending period. This has less to do with the companies and more to do about us around our actions. Our actions can make you get the kind of outcomes that we want. And so part of what we're asking, and this is why it's significant, Joe Taker, 20 to 40% of retail sales for the entire year happen that weekend alone. Right. And so we can actually use our power in a truncated period of time to build our muscle up, to show some discipline, some economic discipline, and actually send a message that we're not buying it. We're not putting up with this, that there has to be some changes. And so ultimately what we're asking, there are 3 companies in particular that are on the hot list that we're saying do not buy under no circumstances. It is Target, Home Depot, and Amazon. And yes, sisters, I said Amazon, and I buy from Amazon like all the other sisters on here often. But we're saying those 3 that we're going to have the discipline, the discipline to not spend our money with those companies that are not standing with our communities and not standing for what is right. But in addition to that, we're saying that to hold your money, just like they didn't. Now the Democrats didn't hold the line. Some Democrats didn't hold the line. Those 8 didn't hold the line. But we're saying because they didn't hold the line, hold your money. But not just about them, but we're going to hold our money and redirect it. I'm asking the 3 things: to redirect your dollars to Black-owned, small, local businesses, women-owned businesses. So we can, if you got to get some Christmas gifts, because we all gonna get some gifts, we're saying get it from local companies, get it from Black women companies. Sisters that are on here, if you got a company, make sure that you literally go online, talk about the We Ain't Buying It campaign, and let people know that you're in business and what you're selling so that we can actually support yours. So on Thursday, we're saying instead of spending money, don't spend a dime, spend time with your family. On Friday, where it's a Black Friday, we're saying make it a Blackout Friday. Make it a Friday that really, at the end of the day, that we're not spending any money. There will be actions all over. Hey, my baby. My grandbaby just came in and like. I thought
on Friday it was Black Friday.
Yeah, on Friday it was Black Friday. So anyway, on Friday, a Blackout Friday. On Saturday and Sunday, we're saying small businesses. Find those sisters that got those cute boutiques. Find those local folks who are doing work. Find those women-owned businesses and redirect your resources there. And on Monday, we ain't playing. It ain't Cyber Monday. It's Cyber Shutdown. Delete the apps. We're telling you, do not buy anything from Amazon. Send a message, but take the time to actually help us lift up this campaign. You can go sign on, because I know we don't have much time. But as we wrap up, sign up at weaintbuyingit.com. Weaintbuyingit.com. It's real important, Joe Taker, too, for us to realize that oftentimes we don't use the power that we have. We've got political power, but we got a lot of economic power. So this is a moment that we can actually use it and to lift it up, have fun with it. We're asking people to tag us, to create posts, content, have fun with it. I found me a cute little dress, a cute little dress that was found on sale on Amazon. And guess what? I ain't buying it, because we ain't buying it. We are not buying it. So
Sugar Bear has entered the chat. Sugar Bear said we are not buying it. I ain't buying it. Sister Latasha, thank you. Now, sisters, Win with Black Women has signed up to support this, and this is very clear. And this is what I'll say. I know sometimes people go, "Oh, I hate to give up something," but sometimes you got to give up something to gain something. And that is what we are doing here. So from
And we got to
November
build a muscle. We got to build the
27th
muscle of
to
resistance.
December the 1st,
Yeah.
be very clear. And this is saying, it's not saying not shop at all. Redirect. Find that Black woman. I know there's the sister shop. You could go to the sister shop online. Our sister Aisha, who leads that. There are all types of Black women businesses and places where you could go and you can find Black women and Black women owned and Black owned businesses to pour into, to support in this time. And what we're saying is just show the economic power being collective power. Sister Latasha, you lead us, you give us song. We appreciate you so much and we thank you for all that you do. We ain't buying it. Sign
We
up.
ain't buying it.com. Redirect, reclaim your power, y'all, and resist. Redirect, reclaim, and resist. Thank you, Joe Take. I love you, sister.
I love you so much. Always a word. Thank you so much. Sisters, thank you so much. We're going to keep going right on into our agenda. Always powerful to have Sister Latasha Brown. Next up, we're going to pivot to talk about this past election cycle. There was a lot of historic wins. There were a lot of Black women who were winning, 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 and more winning. And so we have our sister who is a win with Black women. Oh, geez, Sister Holly Holiday, to come up and talk to us about all that winning, winning, winning that took place last Tuesday. Over to you, Holly.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Joteka. Listen, this is the power call tonight. And so we started out by talking about the power and influence of our legislative voices. Latasha got us thinking about our economic voices. So I'm here to tell the story about what happened when we voted in November, this November. And let me tell you, this is a story not just about what we did in November, but a really simple truth. And the truth is that we Black women are leading. We are leading for a more affordable, just, and more representative future. So some of you have heard some of the story, but I'm here to make sure that you get the full story. So what happened? What had happened in the 2025 election? Well, this is what happened. You see them Black women leading all them people? Black women continued to lead America towards a diverse, affordable democracy. That's right. At the end of the day, she led, she voted, and she won. The 2024 documented our surge. 2025 is documenting the strategy. Black women were running in more state offices earlier in our cycle. Black women are increasing our concentrated participation because we know 2025 is about local influencing and setting the stage for statewide and federal gains. If 2024 taught us that Black women can break every barrier on the map, 2025 reveals how our political infrastructure keeps Black women's in office as a center issue. Now, here's the strategy. We run in more places. We concentrate in key localities and municipalities where policy meets people. Black women are entering in open seats created by retirement, redistricting, and local dynamics. And while the fundraising capacity has dipped dramatically as compared to past off-cycle cycles, we are keeping each other alive through increased small dollar giving. And finally, if you are an incumbent Black woman in 2025, you are almost undefeatable because we defended seats in every type of environment and won. So let me give you 5 quick trends. Number 1, we expanded the number of Black women mayors by more than 20, and Black women were candidates in more than 23 special elections. Black women are being elected everywhere, urban, suburban, exurban, and rural. More Black women declaring candidacies earlier with clearer infrastructure and sharper issue agendas centered on jobs, taxes, housing, and more. Candidates embraced multiracial, multi-generational voting coalitions, mirroring the statewide strategies that we saw used in Maryland and Delaware, and organized around shared economic concerns. Trend 3, we are seeing the end or at least the decline of digital invisibility. When we started Sisters Lead, Sisters Vote in 2018, digitally, our Black women political candidates we had less than 80% that were on digital. And now we are showing up and being more collaborative in our spaces. Trend number 4. Black women are winning largely as incumbents and are increasingly more competitive. And trend number 5, and this is a voting trend, Black women continue to not only vote consistently, but vote together more than any other community. You want some proof? I already know you. So let's look at Virginia. In Virginia, Black women voted 96% for the winning candidate. In New Jersey, Black women voted 95% for the winning candidate. In California, Black women voted 89% for Proposition 50, second only to Black men who voted 93%. So what do we understand from this? We understand that we have unmatched electoral unity, that we are policy-centered in our participation, that we have cross-cycle continuity and broad influence. This means that Black women are not episodic participants. We are the steady stream of American democracy. I want to show you something beautiful. Look at some of these mayors. Let me tell you a little bit of factoids about the Black mayors that were elected. Now, I've seen you, and some of you already know about Albany and Syracuse, and you've heard about Kansas City, Kansas, my neck of the woods. I've seen a bunch of stuff on social, but I wanted you to get a fuller picture for what these mayors really are about. We elected mayors in 9 states: Alabama, California, Georgia, Kansas, Michigan, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. We elected mayors in big cities like Detroit and Oakland, in Midwest cities like Dayton, Ohio, and capital cities like Albany and Harrisburg, as well as suburbs like Wyandotte County, Kansas, and even Cairo, Georgia. We won in blue, purple, and even red districts, including Republican congressional districts like Jim Jordan, Scott Perry, and more. More importantly, let's talk about Georgia. In Georgia, shout out to Georgia because we're getting ready for big elections in 2026. Georgia boasts the most Black women mayors last cycle with 7, which really could be an impact especially for Democrats, because they mostly ran in a progressive way, to hang on to not only that Senate seat, but maybe even elect a governor. Black women are in the power position, and we must make sure that we have our demands ready. Virginia was also a story to be noted, and so I'm going to tell the story simply by the numbers. We had 34 Black women candidates on the general election ballot in Virginia, and 29 won. 7 of them were elected I'm sorry, that's actually incorrect. That should be, there's more than 7, but we flipped 4 seats, and I apologize for the typo. We flipped 4 Republican seats to Democrat, and all 13 delegate incumbents won their race. I do want to say, let's get into the fun facts. When we think about New Jersey, I want you to know now that because of Black women, there are actually more women in the House of Delegates than there are Republican. The whole Women's Caucus is bigger than the Republicans in the House of Delegates. And Black women in New Jersey mirrored wins across the country, again in those urban, suburban, exurban, and rural districts, as well as in blue, purple, and red districts. Now, here's some fun stuff, because I know we have some members of the Divine Nine on the call. Did you realize that nearly 1 in 3 Black women elected are proud members of a Divine Nine sorority? And that Black women sorority members are elected in over a dozen states this year, from Alaska. Yep, that's right. We elected a Black woman in Alaska, Alabama, New York, to Texas. Now, this is just a snapshot, and so I want to make sure that you get the information, but also we got to get prepared for what's coming next. So I want you to think about, if you are running in 2026, click that QR code. If you want to support our work and make sure that we're engaging Black women voting, then click that QR code. But here's the most important thing. If you know a Black woman who won in 2025, Put it in the chat. Let's celebrate our sisters. Let's have a moment to say hey and let us know by sending us an email, because we're going to be doing our fun general election yearbook, as you all know, that breaks it all down. And then finally, because I already see it in the chat, Joe Taker, you want a copy of the report. You
Yes.
want to know what's going on. So here's the QR code. Help us to tell our own election story. And let me just say, if you walk away with nothing else from this very brief conversation, I want you to walk away understanding that this was not an election that was about personalities. This was an election that was about issues. We showed up and demanded and voted for candidates that were supporting our primary concern of having an affordable future, a future that is representative of all of us, especially Black women, but most importantly, a future that imagines a new democracy where we are all included. Thank you, Joe Taker, for giving me a
Thank you,
few
Sister
minutes and,
Holly.
help us out, and put those Black women who won in your area or maybe not in your area in the chat so we can celebrate all of their wins together.
And if you won a local election or know someone who won a local election, put her name in the chat and let's celebrate her, because tonight is not only about keeping us informed about the fight, but celebrating our excellence. And that is what this next segment, y'all, I am so excited. Now, Holly, I know you're a good lawyer. Ooh, this next segment.
I'm
Ooh,
excited. I'm just going
Patty,
to go
I'm
to the
so
back and
excited.
listen.
This next two segments. Okay, first of all, we had the creator and the showrunner, and oh my gosh, of Reasonable Doubt. First of all, I'm so excited. And then we got Dr. Sharon Malone gonna be answering all our questions about perimenopause and menopause. It's so dynamic. Okay. For any of y'all know, on Wednesday nights, whether I am in Los Angeles or I am in Washington, D.C., because y'all know I split my time in both coasts. But honey, and when I'm in Washington, D.C. at 12:01 a.m., I think I beat Hulu to loading it up, because I think it's still like trying to load it up. I'm like watching the next episode of Reasonable Doubt. So, but I done got ahead of myself because y'all, I'm so giddy right now. But before we bring up what we already have them on stage, surprise, surprise, surprise. But we're going to show a clip for those of you. Put in the chat if y'all watch Reasonable Doubt. If you do not watch Reasonable Doubt, I promise you'll get hooked and you will like binge watch it all 3 seasons. Yeah, everybody's raising their hand. They say we yes, yes, ma'am, yes. Let's play this clip first, and then I'll introduce our guest.
The fact that you think that being the only Black woman, actually Black person in this room allows me to do whatever the hell I want is truly delusional. And to say it out loud is diabolical. You know, I continue to be questioned about this case, despite the fact that I bill more hours than anyone in this room at a higher hourly rate. You know what? I'm not gonna sit here and tap dance in front of y'all. If you have any questions, check the firm's letterhead. That should answer all the questions you have.
That is a powerful scene, because if you check the letterhead, you check all the walls. Stewart is there. Welcome to Win with Black Women. I am so honored to welcome to Win with Black Women the creator, the showrunner, and the visionary behind Reasonable Doubt, Ramala Muhammad. Welcome, welcome, and welcome back. Sis, my soror is no stranger to the Win with Black Women stage, actress, advocate, and stage. You've been on stages the last couple of years. You toured with our sister Tankers.
Right here, yes.
Hey, tell Tank to come say hello to everybody. Hey, Tank.
It ain't nothing but a word.
Look, y'all, we got a special pop in take and the bangers, y'all. Y'all gotta check if you're in New York. She's been killing it. She's been killing it at the Blue Note. Sister Brandy Evans, this is amazing. There are 1,800 sisters on this call. Reasonable Doubt. First of all, congratulations on season 4.
Thank you.
I have to share, how I got introduced to reasonable doubt, because I think there's always a Black woman. So there are amazing Black women who power and who do this work, and so there's some amazing Black women at Disney and Hulu and Onyx. And I actually was invited by my good friend Trell Thomas. He's a friend, a mentee of mine, to a Black Excellence brunch on the Disney lot. And Romola, you were speaking, and they showed this clip of Reasonable Doubt. And I was like, I don't know the show. And so this is when my Hulu at the time was, I had the commercials. And I started watching Reasonable Doubt. And I was like, I can't take these commercials anymore because this show is good. So I upgraded so that I could watch it.
Yes, I
and
love
then
that.
I just got into it. And I just want to say to both you, Ramla and Brandy, first, thank you for just the way that you see Black women, the way that you write about Black women, the way that you portray Black women. I want to start with you, Ramla, and just your vision behind Reasonable Doubt, this dynamic character whom, if I could, when someone was asking me to describe Reasonable Doubt, I was like, she's all of us.
Yeah.
I think there's
Mhm.
just so many moments where I have seen myself or my sister friend or my relative in Jack Stewart, or whether or not it's in Monica or any of these characters, her mother, all of, I think we see ourselves in this. And I want you to just talk about the vision behind creating such a brilliant piece of art.
Oh, well, thank you. First of all, just thank you for having me. I actually got acquainted with Women with Black Women after, sadly, the election loss, but it was such a beautiful moment. We all got on the Zoom and connected, and it was like everything I needed, and I think we all needed. So I just am so grateful for this organization and the fact that you guys have this, platform to get together. And I think what you were saying about being seen is why I created the show, because I just felt like, as someone, I have had, Black friends since childhood and high school. And then I've also been in these predominantly white institutions, the PWIs that I've gone to. And so I've been in both sides of things, whether it's work or school or at home. I grew up in LA, but I grew up in a predominantly Black area in LA. And so that area, like of Windsor Hills, View Park area in LA, like is a lot of Black professionals. So for me, I was surrounded with smart, passionate, successful Black people, but also that, enjoyed having fun, enjoyed listening to hip hop and and getting loose. And I just felt like I didn't see that on TV. It felt like I say that we either had to be Michelle Obama or Megan Thee Stallion, but I feel like there's a little bit of both of us, and a lot of us, there's a little bit of both, and that's okay. And I feel like the more that we're represented in these kind of disparate situations, it separates us. It's a way for them to say that we can't connect, and we're not going to be able to have a united front. And so for me, like Jax and her friends, or people that I know, people who do walk through in, corporate situations, and, they say code switching. But for me, like code switching is just, it's appropriate. It's appropriate for me to speak, even in this call. I'm going to speak and be professional in one way, but then around my friends or other ways, it's going to be a different way that I'm interacting. And I wanted to see that, like, both ways were authentic and show a Black woman who is married to a Black man, who has Black friends, and is balancing career and motherhood and partnership and all these things in a very relatable way. So that was important to me as well, for sure.
Absolutely. And this season had, I think, all of us in a chokehold. And Brandy, I want to go to you. Oh my gosh. I
My
think we
Lord.
have a photo, and it's a public photo that I think they're going to pull up this photo, because I think if whoo,
Ooh,
Oh,
that picture
spoiler
there.
alert! Spoiler
that
alert!
right
I mean,
there is pushing through, sis. Talk to us about what it has meant for you to be a part of this dynamic show, and to really bring this character to light, these issues that I think are very real issues that we often don't deal with. Talk to us about that.
first, let me start by saying thank you, Romola, for everyone, all 1,800 plus women on this call, because I remember sitting on the floor, season 2, watching, and I told my best friend Sasha on the way there, I was like, I'm about to go meet my new showrunner and producers. And the manifestation of it all, God heard my prayer. So thank you for allowing me to come and play on my favorite show. So it still feels surreal to me. But then when I got the subject line, I said, oh, she said, you want to come play, baby? I'm going to give you some hard subject matter. And I think it's so important. I'm so grateful to tell the story. I'm an auntie of 6 nephews. And so to have 6 baby boys, I think it's very important that we tell this story, because a lot of times we're talking about our baby girls and we're like, telling the girls what to look out for, but we just kind of gloss over our boys sometimes. And so I'm hoping that this is bringing attention to our boys to say, are we watching out for them? Are we looking out for them? Are we telling them that someone shouldn't be doing these things to them? And then it's not cool just because she's an older woman. That does not make it cool. It makes it just as terrible as when it's an older man with a little girl. And so to play that role, I never said 13 until it was time on the stand, because AJ, my nephew's 13. And every time I say that, I get chills because it's so terrible. But I'm so glad that we're able to tell the story. And a lot of people are afraid of us telling the story because it's the truth. And we gloss over it with a lot of things. You tell your kids to go hug that little creepy nephew, that creepy little uncle. He hugging people a little too tight and doing stuff. So we're teaching these babies to say it's not okay. If you realize in episode 9, Ozzy said, I didn't like that. In episode 9, he was like, I told you, like, I don't want to do that again. And so instead, Monica, the younger Monica, says to him, oh, I didn't know you were gay. So those are things that are said to our boys to make them feel like, well, maybe I should do these things. And it's not okay. So thank you, Ramala, for allowing me to have such a difficult storyline to tell. I know y'all hate Monica right now, but I'm glad the story was told, and who knows what's about to happen in season 4.
I really want to know. I cannot wait. I hope Brandy and Ramala and the rest of the cast that y'all will come back when season 4 launches, because I just want to know what is going to happen. All I know is that Monica came in the door and I said, oh no. Before we wrap up, I did want to acknowledge just the complex nature of just the writing. It's just so the dynamic nature of all of the characters. I remember watching, I believe, I can't remember which episode, was it 4 or 5? It was the episode when Jax's mother was going in for the surgery.
Oh, episode 7, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, episode 7. And I remember I just was bawling my eyes out, because the whole time I was reliving my own experience with my mom and the sickness that she went through and being in that hospital. But it was this moment where Jack said that, who all she was, that she was a daughter. She was a daughter, she was a child, she just wanted her mom, but she was also a fighter. And that we as Black women, we can hold all those things at any given time. Can you just expound on, what went into that as you were sort of writing that piece? It just struck me so much when it was just this moment where you saw that Jax were all these things at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's the burden, right? That we have to be all the things all the time. I mean, in season 1, that's what she says. She's like, I feel like I have to be all the things all the time. And Lewis says to her, like, you don't have to be. And it's like, because he doesn't understand, right? That whether we have to be or not, that's what we feel like. And yeah, I mean, I lost my dad when I was young to cancer, so that was part of kind of my experience in that moment. Sadly, he passed. For me, it just is, what's great is that, so our entire writers room is Black. All the directors who come are Black. And as someone who's been in writers rooms where I have not, it's not been that way. Sometimes you feel like you have to explain your Blackness, or you have to stick up for the Black character. And what happened is that when now all the writers are Black, we're all Black. I don't have to say like what a sew-in or a headscarf, or we don't have to explain different things. And so what happens, we get to be people. So we get to tell human stories, right? We get to talk about these subjects that matter, not just in our community, but also just in general as humans. And I think a lot of times we don't get to be that, right? Like you're talking about, the mayors and all these people who want to make a difference in politics, but
also on the burden they also have is that they have to convince people that a Black woman can do something. So there's an
Right.
extra step there. And so for me, that's what I wanted. I wanted directors to come in who are Black, who had a shorthand with the actors, like Monica. And then also with someone like Brandy, right? Like her character, Monica, like she's not the only Black woman on the show. So now I'm not worried about, oh no, am I portraying the only Black woman on the show as this pedophile? There's so many different shades, so many
Yes.
different, so many different kinds of people and women. So Monica gets to exist as the person and the character that she gets to be without having to worry about, okay, like who is this Black woman? And also, I think Brandon can speak to also the hair, makeup, the conversations we have about that as well, which also bring a different authenticity and make sure that the actors don't have to worry about, right, like how you show up and who's
Oh,
going to be taking care of you.
I felt so safe. Our department head, Dee Dee Metzger. Oh my gosh! Like when I heard that she was the department head, I literally texted my agent. I said, I don't have any questions because I knew that Rommel had hired a qualified Black woman. She understood natural hair. She understood if you need a wig, you need a sew-in. When the finale happened, and I said, my braids are a little raggedy under there, and those grays are showing. That's dope, right? Let's just let it ride. We understood. This is set it off braids. We're gonna let pop out on this. So it just felt good and safe in hair and makeup and everywhere we turned. I mean, and Ramala's not speaking to this, but she also had therapists on set. So, that's heavy subject matter. We were protected in every way on that set, from intimacy scenes to having the safety of, are you okay outside of your trailer? I know that's some heavy subject matter. On set and off set, they will call you when you're at the house, girl. So I've never been on a set where I just felt so safe. And that standing ovation to you, Ramala. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Powerful, powerful. Well, thank you all so much. Sisters, if you have not already binge watched Reasonable Doubt, I encourage you to please head over, and it's on Hulu. You can watch Reasonable Doubt. It's season 3 just wrapped. An amazing season. Season 4 has already been renewed, so cannot wait for
Yes.
on.
Yes.
I hope that you will come back. We love you. We want to support you. And we just want to thank you for telling Black women's stories in a way that centers us in our totality, in all
Yes.
phases of who we are, our sensuality, our fierceness, our vulnerability, our fears, our relationships with our mothers, our fathers, our children, our lovers, our partners. I really just felt like I saw myself so many times. And I remember after I watched it the first time, I think I got my line sisters hooked on it. I got my partner, he was watching it. So we were all like watching Reasonable Doubt. And I just wanted to
Oh.
thank you for coming on tonight.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. And again, if you guys haven't seen it, please watch. It's hard for Black TV shows to stay on the air. They care about the numbers. They care about who's watching. Even if you've already watched it, if you're doing laundry, put it on the background, run it again. Just
Seriously.
they
Yes.
they do they count all these numbers, and that makes a difference of kind of like our budget and also if the show comes
Yes.
back. So yeah. So
Well,
anyway,
thank
thank you
you
for the
so much.
support.
Thank you, Ramala Muhammad and
Thank
Brandy
you.
Evans. Thank you. And
Yes. Thank
special pop
y'all.
in for Tank and the Bangers. Thank you
Yes.
for support Tank's new book. Tank says she gonna come on a win with Black Women Call, y'all. So we
Yes.
wait
Yes.
for Tank on here. Yes, show
Think
everybody.
about
Yes.
falling.
Yes, the thing about falling. Y'all, I saw Tank at the Blue Note in Los Angeles. And let me tell you, the show was so good. I went back to see the second show. It was so amazing. Make sure you support Tank for Take and the Bangers. Thank you all so much. Reasonable Doubt on Hulu everywhere. Ramala Muhammad and Brandy Evans. We love you and we love you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, sisters, it's 1,800 of us, and I'm super excited about this next guest. I'm going to show this clip because I know, and we got a special treat because she has agreed. So raise your hand, and we're going to try to bring you on to the screen to ask a question. Now, this is a question to the Dr. Sharon Malone. Now, if you do not follow Dr. Sharon Malone on all things socials, you need to follow Dr. Sharon Malone. She is a leading expert on health equity, particularly in the areas of perimenopause and menopause, but overall our health equity. She has launched a great new podcast. I cannot wait for you to see this. I'm going to roll this clip so that you can get a sense of what we are about to have up next.
I bet you've gone to a doctor and left feeling dismissed, and then went home and self-diagnosed after doom scrolling online. Women's health has been on the sidelines for way too long. With all the misinformation, lack of information, and limited access to resources, it's good to have a trusted resource for medical advice. That's where my new show comes in, The Second Opinion with me, Dr. Sharon. I'm a board-certified OBGYN and advocate for women's health with over 30 years of experience. Now, I can admit, I don't know everything. So each week, I'll have vetted experts and women just like you to break down all kinds of issues: strokes, birth plans, uterine cancer, mental health. If it affects women, we're talking about it. I want to hand over the tools you need to go to your doctor's visit prepared. No sugarcoating, no waiting rooms, just the truth. Finally, you'll never hear, just deal with it in this doctor's office. Premiering October 6th with new episodes every Monday. Subscribe to The Second Opinion with Dr. Sharon on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Watch video episodes on the Higher Ground YouTube channel.
I am so excited to welcome to Win with Black Women. We've been trying to make this happen for a while. Please, everybody, Dr. Sharon Malone, how are you?
I am so good. Thank you for having me. This is so special. Thank you, Joteka.
Well, it is so wonderful to have you, The Second Opinion. Before we get into a couple of questions, and you shared it in the video that preceded, but we can watch The Second Opinion on all platforms, wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's Spotify, whether it's Apple, YouTube. You can download, like, and follow The Second Opinion. New episodes drop every Monday, and you can catch all episodes on the Higher Ground YouTube channel. So everybody make sure that you are not only clicking and liking, because at Win with Black Women, we like to be very strategic about making sure we support our sisters, but also follow Dr. Sharon Malone, because she often will post a lot of great information. And you got a lot of fans that are here, and everyone is talking about your book too, Grown Woman Talk, which is an amazing book. Love that book so much information. And look, Donna Brazil is making sure that everybody gets your podcast link in here. Thank you for that, Donna. So Dr. Sharon, there has just been a lot of news in health. There's been a lot of conversation about health, given the ACA and the importance of just healthcare in this country, but also news as it relates to labels, and particularly around hormones and menopause. Can you talk to us about the significance of what has happened, particularly this week?
Yes. First to give you a little bit of context, I spent a lot of my time in the perimenopause and menopause space. And the reason I talk so much about it is because, one, it has not been discussed out in the public forum before. But the reason why I really want to talk about this to Black women is because when it comes to menopause and perimenopause, we have the most severe symptoms. They last longer. Menopause and the menopause transition starts earlier. And yet we are least likely to get a conversation about menopause and the solutions and hormone therapy in our doctor's office. And even when we do get that conversation, we are least likely to get a prescription to address the symptoms. And when we take that prescription home, we are only half as likely to actually take the medication. And there's a reason why that is because we think all of the bad things. We go, oh, no, no, we can't take that. We think that hormones cause breast cancer. We think that they cause strokes and all of the terrible things. And the reason why that we think that, you didn't make it up, because there's a big warning, a black box warning on all estrogen containing products. And it says, warning, this, medication will increase your risk of breast cancer, cardiovascular disease, strokes, dementia, and blood clots. Now, that sounds terrible. And it scares people even when they've gotten a conversation. So the big news this week is that the FDA Commissioner, Marty McCary, said they're going to take the warning off the estrogen containing products. And that's a big deal because even people who had not even heard the conversation about why they think hormones were bad for them, which they are not, by the way, they look at that box warning and they will take them and throw them in the trash. So that's why today's, this conversation is so important, because we're going to destigmatize menopause, and we're going to destigmatize asking for help when you need it. And like I said, I don't think that there's anybody who needs this conversation more than Black women, because we suffer longer and more severely.
That's so important. And so, for all of you in the audience, Dr. Sharon has agreed to answer questions tonight. So we're not going to keep her on too long, but we're going to maybe get maybe the two or three of you. So if you raise your hand, we will bring. Now it has to be a question. If you have a question, and we're going to bring you over, you have to watch, and our tech team will promote you to panelists. Now have your camera on now, and we'll bring you over and allow for you to ask a question. And while we're doing that, and I think our first one is going to be Sister Kimberly Ellis. So while we're bringing her over, I did want to share and just ask you a question about. You and I've had this conversation often, and I have had my own journey of just sort of having a realization, particularly as a older woman who may have thought, well, maybe I want kids, maybe I don't want kids. And what kind of questions should any woman that's maybe in her mid 30s that might want kids, what questions should we be asking our doctor when we go into the doctor office about if we may want to conceive or have children one day?
Right. And here is something that I think is very important. Remember, I told you that menopause comes earlier for Black women. Well, there's this time called perimenopause, which starts, that perimenopause starts 10 years for Black women on average, 10 years before you finally get to menopause. So let's just say for the average Black woman, you're going to be menopausal maybe in 49. That means 39, you really have entered perimenopause. And for some women, it's even earlier than that. Suppose you're going to be menopausal at 45. That means that at 35, all of those things that we normally associate with menopause, like hot flashes, mood swings, night sweats, they show up. But here's the other little piece of it that people don't realize is that when you enter that perimenopausal phase, and for some of us, it may be in your mid 30s, not your mid 40s, there's a distinct difference in your fertility. And that's why I tell women all the time, I'm like, look, don't think you're Halle Berry and you're going to have a baby at 48 years old. No, that's not the lived experience of most people. So knowing your family history, knowing if your mother or your older sisters had difficulty getting pregnant, how old were they when they had their last period? Because that's what you've got to back up. And that's important, not just for dealing with symptoms, but making decisions about if and when you decide to have children.
Thank you for that. So, sisters, ask these questions to your doctor in your early 30s. Don't wait, please.
Right.
Trust me, don't wait. Sister Kimberly, you are up with Dr. Sharon Malone.
Thank you so much. I love you so much, Joteka. And Dr. Malone, thank you so much for starting this podcast. Please do have on Just Being Melanie, the creator of the We Do Not Care Club. I happened to go to a menopause conference this past weekend. I'm in Pittsburgh. The room was all white except for me and my girlfriend. So my question is, can you talk about some of the disproportionate effects that Black women experience in perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause?
Well, remember what I just told you about when the symptoms, when they start earlier, more severe, and last longer. One of the things I do a lot of speaking about menopause around the country. And whenever there are these convenings, and there have been a bunch of them, it is always a group of white women. They're like a smattering of Black women. And the reason why that is because a lot of these people that invite you to speak, they charge, so it's $200 and $300 to come and spend a day and learn all about menopause. But it's also, you don't even get the memo to know that it's even happening. So it's not just the economics of it, if you're just not even in that loop. So we have got to create our own network of getting this information out. And that's one of the things that I do at Alloy Health, because I'm the chief medical advisor there. And because I know that Black women are so underserved, because even when you know what you want and you understand and you're like, okay, great, now I want to do hormone therapy, it's hard to find a doctor who will prescribe for you. It is increasingly difficult. So we've got to find a way to get care to where the care is needed. We have a Black Women's Initiative where we do outreach to Black women because we want them to be able to have the same access and make hormone therapy affordable. And those are the kinds of things that I do to make sure that the message just isn't to the few, like the 2 or 3 Black women who are in the room. I want you to tell your friends. I tell people all the time, I said, when I see people sweating and suffering, I'm like, I just go up to them and say, girl, you do not have to live like this. I mean, there are so many things that we are affected by in perimenopause. And one of the big things that we don't talk about is bleeding. There are so many women, Black women who are out here who have fibroids. And when you enter perimenopause with fibroids, part of it has some irregularities with your period anyway. And there are women that are having extraordinarily heavy periods and feeling bad and being limited. And they don't even realize because it sneaks up on you like, oh, maybe I should tell someone about this because this needs to be fixed. My job is to tell you, please don't suffer. You don't have to live like this. We have options, and the option is not always a hysterectomy. That's your last option, not your first one. But don't just accept it. Please don't accept just feeling bad as something that's part of getting older or this is what I expect. No, I want you to have the expectation as you enter your 40s, 50s, 60s that you are going to be vibrant and happy and feel well and be well. And to do that, you just have to know what to do, when to access care, and don't be afraid because of all the misinformation that's been out there. And it gets back to why it's important about this labeling and why it's important to tell your friends, that, don't listen to people go, oh, no, no, you can't take that. No, it does not. And I'm going to say this again, I'm going to say it loud. Hormone therapy does not cause breast cancer. And that, I think, is the biggest impediment to women thinking that they can't have it or they can't use it because they have a family history. Not so.
Very, very powerful. Thank you so much, Sister Kimberly. Next up, I believe we're going to bring up Sister Fatma. I think she's coming up on stage. And if not, we will go to, I think oh, there she is. Hi, sis. How are you? You are on mute.
You would think at this point.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Aaron.
Yes, thank you so very much. So some of us, as you said, hit menopause. I'm 53 and I've hit it a while now. And yeah, one of my major concerns is having to take the progesterone with the estradiol and consistently doing that. And the fear that if I miss a dose or two, I will have an issue. So, at one point ran out and I basically stopped everything. And the side effect was major bleeding, right? And it was like I was having my period all over again. All the symptoms, the breast tenderness, you have it, everything was there. So just want to be able to see what we can, like what advice you can give for some of us who are on it, but sometimes it's like you don't always get the chance to have the progesterone along with it. And if that's a necessity, it's required.
Well, I tell you why you use the progesterone, because if you have a uterus, you need to take estrogen, which relieves the symptoms, and you also take a progestin or progesterone, and that protects the lining of the uterus. That's why you have to take it. But does it matter if it's like a dose here or there? No, not really. It's long term. If you don't take the progesterone, you run the risk of having an increased risk of uterine cancer, but that's over months, years, not over days, a week if you forgot your prescription. But there are ways to take it that make it easy for you to remember. And I think people don't realize that there are a lot of different ways. You can use a patch, you can use a pill, you can use a spray, you can use a patch that has your estrogen and progestin all in the same patch. You can use a pill very much like it's packaged almost like birth control pills, where your estrogen and your progestin are in the same pill. So you don't have to remember, do one thing and do another. That's why I said there are a lot of different options. And picking the one that's right for you is the one that makes you that you will follow, that you can be compliant with. But the reason why you start bleeding again, I don't know if you've ever taken birth control pills, but you know how you take 3 weeks of you used to take 3 weeks of birth control pills and you would take a week off and you'd get a period? Well, the reason you get your period is because you've stopped your hormones, not because you're actually having a cycle. It's just the withdrawal from the hormones. So the same thing happens to you when you use hormone replacement therapy. If you skip or stop your hormones for a week, you'll get a period. Doesn't necessarily mean that there's anything wrong. And that's why I said pick a system and pick something for you that you know you can do consistently. So maybe don't do two things, put them all in one, either a patch or a pill.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sister
Thank you.
Mama. Next up, we have time for one more question. Erica Williams, Dr. Sharon, everybody's in the chat like, oh, child, this is it's great information. See, this is what you're going to get when you go to the second opinion. You're going to hear all
Yeah.
this good
Yeah.
shit.
And you know what? And this is what, and I tell you, and everybody doesn't have to remember everything. I put all of this in my book, and I'll put up here in Grown Woman Talk, because you don't have to remember. It's really a reference book for all the things you need to know after 40. It's not just menopause and perimenopause. So you can go to the chapters that speak to you at that particular time. Sometimes it might be perimenopause. Sometimes it may be heart attack and strokes. Sometimes it may be Alzheimer's because you're dealing with parents. It's all in there. So, anything that I don't cover in the podcast, promise you, is in Grown Woman Talk. Yes,
Sister
ma'am.
Erica, you are on with Dr. Sharon. I think, Sister Erica, you was trying to
Yeah.
change it. She was like, let me change my background here.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh.
Thank you. Now, my question is, I have kind of a combined question. There we go. That's the one I want to show you. My close family member of mine developed breast cancer at 35.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all hormonal,
Mm-hmm.
they told her. So of course, I'm not saying that the hormones cause,
right,
the HRT
right.
causes
Right.
it, but can you explain how that imbalance or her hormones got so out of whack that it caused cancer?
Well, let me say this, because I think it's very important that you understand is that breast cancer is not one disease. Breast cancer are about 4 or 5 different types of breast cancer. Premenopausal breast cancer, getting it at 35 is very different from a cancer that you get at 65. So a 35-year-old has the same amount of hormones. She's ovulating and doing everything like that. It probably does not have to do with the fact that the estrogen that her body makes, but the cancer itself. Most breast cancers are estrogen, they have estrogen receptors on them, which is a good thing, not a bad thing, because it means the ones that tend to behave worse are the ones that don't have estrogen receptors on them, or what is called triple negative breast cancer, where it doesn't have estrogen receptors, doesn't have progesterone receptors, and it doesn't have another one called HER2. But just understand that those are different things. That's rare, having a breast cancer that early. But let me share a little bit of family history. I have two sisters with breast cancer. I had one sister who had breast cancer at 37. I had another sister who had breast cancer at 71. Now, if you just play the odds, the one who had breast cancer at 71 should have been the one that had the best prognosis. She didn't. My sister who had breast cancer at 37, 25 years ago, survived and did fine throughout the rest of her life and died of something else. The 71-year-old sister who had the great prognosis because it had estrogen receptors, she died. And she didn't die of her breast cancer. She died of the fear of breast cancer. Now, you know what I do. My sister had not had a mammogram, as best I could tell, in 12 years. Our family history was so upsetting, and so she avoided getting the mammogram that would have saved her life. So I say this to everyone out here, we have screening. There are always going to be situations where, someone's going to be the exception. But bear in mind, the overwhelming majority of women who are diagnosed with early stage breast cancer will go on and live the rest of their lives. So don't avoid it, or, don't avoid getting your screening done. Know your family history. That's so important, because if you have a certain family history, you may be screened differently than someone who doesn't have a family history. But, and I think this is something that you really, really should understand, is that taking hormone therapy after menopause does not increase your risk. Your risk is what your risk is, whether you take hormone therapy or not. The overwhelming majority of women who get breast cancer are 20 years post-menopause, when they don't have any estrogen in their system. So it's not that. But the thing that I will leave you with is that, particularly for Black women, because not only do we just genetically, for whatever reason, have an early menopause, but it's not even genetics, it's environmental. I'll put it to you this way. But we're also more likely to get hysterectomies. You're more likely to have your ovaries out for other things, which means you've got a very early menopause, because someone, comes earlier. And you know what it means when you go through menopause at 40 or 35? That means that you are at risk for cardiovascular disease. You're at higher risk for cardiovascular disease. You're at higher risk for Alzheimer's. You're at higher risk for type 2 diabetes. Those are the long-term implications of not treating those menopausal symptoms.
I started perimenopause at 38.
Yeah.
But my second question, if I have time, is, there's a lot of research out there about Black women and conditions like polyps and fibroids and endometriosis. I had polyps, and the second time they reoccurred, I had an ablation, and gone forever. Best thing that ever happened to me. But now I have this huge endometrioma, and it's causing, I feel like I'm 15 again with the cramps that got me doubling over and all of that. What is it, in a few words?
I don't have a.
I know that's harder than a long explanation, because I'm a PhD student, so I know.
Yeah.
But why do these conditions plague Black women so much? I bet of all my girlfriends, there are 2 with fibroids, there's 1 with endometriosis. It's like almost an epidemic. What is causing it?
Well, here's a theory, and I think that it's a good one, because when you keep looking for a genetic cause for why Black women do so poorly in all the things, you name it, breast cancer, heart disease, hypertension, all of that, diabetes, there is a theory that was put forth by this woman. Her name is Dr. Arlene Geronimus. She's at the University of Michigan. And she says that the better question is not what's wrong with Black women, what is wrong with your genetic code, is what is the environment that Black women find themselves in. It is the concept of weathering. It is the concept we do worse because, again, the stress, the lack of sleep, we take on the problems of the world. I don't think I have to explain this to anybody here. Your family, your
Epigenetics.
children, your parents, all of that. And all of that really weighs on your health moving forward. So, think of it as just, it's weathering. It is not you personally. It is the environment. It is the cancer causing, disease causing environment that we're in. And when you add to that the fact that so many, disproportionately a number of Black women don't have access to good quality health care. You don't live in a place, you live next to a highway where pollution is high. You don't have safe outdoor space. You're scared, worried about your children who are out at night. All of those things affect your health. And that's why it does not matter whatever parameter you pick, Black women do worse, and it's not you. And let me say this, it's not you, it's not your hair perm. That's not what's causing it. We like to blame Black women's behavior for poor outcomes, and it's not that. So
I'm sensing, I'm
that's the
hearing
weather.
epigenetics here.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank
Erica,
you so
thank
much.
you so much, Sister Erica. Dr. Sharon, I mean, we're going to have to see if you will come back and do this session for us. We might just need to do a special Dr. Sharon Malone Win with Black Women special Sunday night. But we got a special guest that wanted to come on screen. Donna Brazil. She said that you were from Mobile, Alabama. She wanted everybody to know.
I am.
Southern Black girl.
First of all, I don't share the stage with anyone that can probably cook gumbo the way my mama taught me. But I wanted to personally say to you, Sharon, that I met you when I was in my 20s and I did not have health care. I was just coming in Washington, D.C. I was living on Capitol Hill. And early on, I explained to you some things that was going on with my life, and you saved my life because you taught me about my body, fibroids, all of the other craziness. I thought it was just, my political cycle. I never call it menopause. When Democrats won, when Democrats lost, But I wanted to just say thank you. And I shared in the chat a lot of stuff about you, but I want everyone to know, get the book because Dr. Malone will share with you things that your mom and the grown folks got from us. And you sort of like enlarged the circle and broke it out and told us. And because you were from Mobile, Baldwin County, and I think about Sister Alexis, your sister, so many from the wonderful city that also hosts a Mardi Gras. But I just want to tell you how much I loved you. I love you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Donna. And Latasha has some Mobile connections too.
She crazy.
Her mother's from
crazy.
Mobile.
She's crazy Mobile. Don't get into her part of Mobile. We'll be at the casino.
Well, I have to take I have to take a moment of personal privilege, Soror Malone, and just show some love to our honorary member, Soror Donna Brazil here. And for those sorors and D9 sisters, another fun fact for Dr. Sharon Malone is that she is a chartered member of the Harvard, the chapter, her Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated chapter at Harvard University. She's a charter member. So another fact, but this is such a beautiful moment of sister. Thank you, Sister Donna.
Thank you, Sarah.
Sharon. This was so informative, and I believe tonight has just been a beautiful night. Whether we are in a fight for our health care or whether or not we are understanding the human toll that these political decisions make in our lives, or flexing our economic power, or celebrating the fact that we are indeed winning and Black women are winning, or if we are making and creating art and stories that center us, or getting information that we need about our bodies. That is the totality of Black women, and that is what Win with Black Women is all about. And Dr. Sharon Malone, you have blessed us tonight. And sisters, we have dropped in the chat the link for the book. We're going to drop it in there again. But sisters, if you tonight, I want tomorrow for Dr. Malone to give me a call and be like, girl, I sold 500 books last night. So I want you to drop in the chat. Let's keep dropping it in the chat, the book link. And if you are ordering the book, Grown Woman Talk, just put a note in the book. Just put a note in the chat. Got it. I just bought it. Okay, I see you. One sister said, Elizabeth just bought it. Oh, yep. Sister said they're ordering the book tonight. Letitia said she's buying it now. Cheryl said she's buying it. Y'all, let's just drive this up, because she did not have to come on here and give us all of this time. We asked her for about 5 to 7 minutes. She reached out, wanted to join us. And that is the beauty of Black women who give and give and give. And there are so many women who have said in the chat that you have literally saved their lives. And so we thank you for that. Blessed be Black women who touch us every single day. And I just wanted to personally thank you for coming on Win with Black Women tonight.
It is my pleasure, and invite me back anytime.
We would love to have you. We're going to have a special every quarter. We're going to have a special segment with Dr. Sharon Malone, and y'all can get all y'all questions together. And come on, it's just been such a treat. Thank you so much, Dr. Malone. We love you.
You're so very welcome.
Well, sisters, we have come to the end of our agenda, but before we end, we got to get our announcements from Sister Chantel Mullen, and then we will close in the spirit, and then we'll go into after hours. I'm sure after hours is going to be real good tonight. Sister Chantel, over to you.
All right. Well, thank you, Joteka. Sisters, I've got the hot announcements right off the Win with Black Women streets from our sisters. So let's get into it. All right, our announcements for November 16th. We are almost at the end of the year. Can you believe 2025 has flown by? We have 2 more meetings scheduled for this year. We have December the 7th, which is our next Sunday call. And then our final call for the year will be on December the 14th. We've got our all states meeting. The next one is going to be December the 8th. So if you are interested in joining a network of sisters at the state level, they will be meeting on December the 8th. Don't forget, the meetings are held in 2 parts. The first segment is for Eastern and Central time zone states. That will take place at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And then at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, the Mountain and Pacific time zone states, plus Hawaii and Alaska, will be joining the call. We also need some states ambassadors. So are you passionate about creating community with Black women? Well, come on over, because we're looking for some Black women willing to share their experience. Complete the interest form. You can either scan the QR code or use the ambassador form link. And don't forget, you can download these slides. They're already in the resource tab. Don't forget, I'm going to keep reminding you until we get to April of 2026. Lock it in, Power Rising, happening in Chicago, April the 16th through the 19th. The Signal Live happens on Thursday nights. If you have missed those shows, you have been missing a treat. A lot of our good sisters are on there. Our sister Holly Holiday was on last week talking about elections. Our sister Monique, sister Elizabeth, they've all been on the Signal Live. So that's just another place where you can catch some of our Black women who are lifting up information that the community needs to know. There's a Q&A session for current and former federal employees. They have one more session left on December the 23rd. You can scan the QR code or use the link to register. And there is 2 more sessions left in the Black Women's Roundtable Wealth Builder series. You know, this started back in October. And so they are having sessions 5 and 6. That's going to happen on November the 18th. That one is about using your digital marketing, branding, and e-commerce tools for your business. And the last session, which will happen on November the 20th, is how to use AI tools for your business. You can register at the link below, or you can scan the QR code. These sessions are open to the public. They are free and online. They start at 6 p.m. Eastern Time and go to 7:30. So join these sisters who are trying to help you build wealth. Just a reminder, the Federal Workers Initiative, they are meeting on Thursdays from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You can use the bit.ly link to join that group. Those sisters are looking to help you make a pivot with passion and purpose. Our good sister Spice is having her Soulful Ancestors Retreat. It is happening on November the 22nd. And you can use the link or use the QR code. It is at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The community, they have a Zoom call for the 300,000. That happens on Mondays from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you are a sister who has been pushed out of the federal workforce, those sisters are gathering there together to provide sisterhood, comfort, and community. And so you can use that link to register for that call. We've got Rise and Ready, a complimentary introduction to leadership masterclass for women ready to rise. These sisters have a lot of things going on because they want to help you learn how to lead teams, overcome imposter syndrome and deal with leadership challenges, dealing with AI and leadership transformation. If you are interested in that, that is happening November the 22nd from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. It's virtual. You can scan that QR code to reserve your seat. We've got a Real Measure Diabetes Awareness and Health Beyond the Scales. Did you know that November is National Diabetes Awareness Month? And so the NAACP has teamed up with the American Red Cross, and they are going to have a conversation on November the 19th at 7 p.m. To talk about diabetes prevention, wellness, and the power of community health. You don't have to sign up for anything. This is going to be broadcast live on YouTube or Facebook, and you can use either one of those links to watch that conversation. Women's Entrepreneur Day, Entrepreneurship Day is Wednesday, November the 19th, and our good sister, Tamia Booker, is having a conversation with Maria Anderson and Amanda Aguirre. And that's going to happen at lunchtime, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you are interested in joining that conversation, use that link to sign up. And tomorrow, it is Media Monday. Our good sisters over at NCNW, they are going to be elevating Black excellence in media. And you can tune in and watch it on Facebook and Instagram. Our good sister, Reverend Siobhan Arline Bradley, who is a Win with Black Women OG, will be having a conversation with former White House correspondent April Ryan. And she's who is also the DC bureau chief for Black Press USA. That's going to happen tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. What's happening in our states? So, reminder, North Carolina, they meet on Sundays before the Win with Black Women calls. And so that you can join that call by using the bit.ly link. They meet at 6 p.m. And so they are trying to reach all the women in North Carolina in all 100 counties. The Win with Black Women California, they meet on the third Monday of each month at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. And if you are interested in joining that group, sign up at the link. Win with Black Women Florida, they have their calls on Monday nights and they're having a call tomorrow. And so join them. So they are going to be talking about building bridges through history, coping through chaos, and having some other Win with Black Women updates. If you'd like to join that call, use the link. They have a rousing agenda, as we can see. Win with Black Women Arizona, they are going to have a watch party. They are watching an investigative discovery show about the Tech Brothers murders. So they ask that you watch that show and then join them on November the 23rd, 7 p.m. Arizona time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. And so they're going to have Sandra Brown from a retired Palo Alto Police Department detective to walk them through this discussion about this series. They're also will be meeting at their Win with Black Women Arizona meetings, which are every Thursday at 7 p.m. Arizona time. They've got a lot of sisters that will be coming into their meeting. They're talking about SNAP benefits, Gen Z and millennial engagement, the plight of Black vets, a civic fit series. They got all the things. So join them on Thursday to hear this great discussion. And you can use that Zoom link to register for that call. Sister Holly mentioned it, but you know what? I got to get information. We still have some Black women who are running for office in 2025, but you know what? I'm going to have that 2026 link the next time because 2026 is right around the corner. But you can go to the Sisters Lead Sisters Vote website. It's there too, and the website is right there at the bottom. That new report that Sister Holly mentioned is on the website along with the general election yearbook. And I can't wait to see what the 2025 yearbook will look like. If you have any jobs, consulting, or funding opportunities that you would like to send out in the Win with Black Women weekly email, send that to Jewel Love's attention. That's the subject line. And send it to info@winwithblackwomen.org. Make sure that you get it to her by Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time for the weekly email. If you have a Sunday announcement, send it to info@winwithblackwomen.org, and the subject line is announcements. Make sure that you get it to us by 6 p.m. Eastern Time on the Saturday before the Sunday call. And if you want to just give a little love offering to Win with Black Women, here is our C4 donation link. And with that, Joteka, that is all of our announcements. So
there's always announcements in the Win with Black Women streets. Where I tell you, we stay busy and I love it. It's beautiful. Sisters, but we try to keep you no longer than 2 hours. It has been a wonderful evening. And I just want to give I want to take a moment of personal moderator's privilege and give a big shout out to my friend Kimberly Marshall, who is joining us from Miami, Florida, who's been on for the last 2 hours, enjoying. She's been texting me the whole time and giving me commentary throughout the call. So I figured I would say hello to her. And a big shout out and big love to my 2-month-old nephews that are watching. My line sister, y'all know, Tony Kreiner, gave birth to my nephews, and Ethan and Elijah. And she sent me this cute picture. I hope it is okay. I know it's fine for me to share this, but I just thought it was so cute that, and he's locked in watching Win with Black Women. That's Elijah right there. Locked in and watching Win with Black Women, making his debut. It is always beautiful when the babies are watching and loving on the sisters and getting all the information. It is never too early to teach the babies. Thank you all so much. And I am super honored. Before I go, I want to say thank you. And I'm so honored to be in partnership and in collaboration and coalition with the dynamic women who power Win with Black Women. So big shout out to Sister Chantel Mullen, Dr. Edwina Ward, Sister Sierra Johnson, Sister Holly Weeks, Sister Holly Holiday, Sister Christina Q, Sister Jewel Love, and so many women, Donna Brazil, Mignon Moore, Bishop Leah Daughtry, Sister Mel Campbell, Dr. Stacy NC Grant, so many women who just pour into Win with Black Women on a week-to-week basis. And thank you to all of the women who grace the Win with Black Women stage with your brilliance and with your excellence. We are always so grateful. And after we close in the spirit, we will have 2 rooms open for after hours. So, sisters, the way it works, you can leave the webinar and enter a room where you can talk to other sisters and engage with other sisters in other rooms. And we encourage you to look to your emails because we will send a recap from our digital team. Shout out to our digital team, and you'll get all of the links, how you can buy these books, how you can watch these shows, how you can get this information, how you can call your member of Congress. You will get that, and that goes to our listserv of more than 200,000 Black women across the country. So with that, I would like to bring up Sister Narissa, who will close us in the spirit.
Thank you so much, Sister Joteka, our storytellers, our truth bringers, and all the sisters and allies who have worked together to build this sanctuary to refresh our spirit. So let us seal this powerful call with a prayer. I was inspired by this occasion to revisit the scriptures of Jeremiah 29:11 and Psalm 46:10. Jeremiah 29:11 states, "For surely I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans for your welfare and not for harm, to give you a future with hope." That scripture was written by a prophet in exile to a despairing people, the exiles in Babylon. Tonight, we were reminded of the power of a well-told story held up by a community in despair. God, we take refuge in your word that says that despite what has happened and what we see now, this is all part of a divine plan. We may see a future of hope, but sometimes we despair in the now. In this season of gratitude and thanksgiving, God, I keep reading your word. And what? In verse 14, it says that as I seek you with all my heart, I will find you with me, and you will change my circumstance. God, give strength and assurance to all of us who have a need we can't speak out loud, that we will seek you with our entire hearts. We can hold the fight and the joy together. Let those of us who nurture and care for our community Find the same care given back to us, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Let all in need feel your provision in their lives right now. And what? In Psalm 46:10, you tell us to be still and know that you are God. So as we come together in community with the spirit of discipline, we can rest and place our minds on the right story. Still us gently, God, so that we can know you intimately and we can experience your goodness now. I call this for ourselves, for our loved ones, and for our world. Holy Spirit, thank you. Thank you for this community, Win with Black Women, that refreshes us to hear a new, wiser story based on your promise. Let us rest and know. Amen.
So powerful.